Hello, everyone. Welcome to Festival Fun Facts. We're back with our second installment on partnerships. So we're going to have a couple people come in and out today. And so, Dennis, do you want to describe that a little better?
Sure thing, Jocelyn. Thank you. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this evening or watching us at a later time. Very exciting. No organization is a successful organization if it stands alone, right? And too often we feel like we are alone out there trying to do the best we can as an association, as an organization for, in this case, the performing arts and music. But there are other folks and these connections, these networks, these colleagues and advocates, fellow advocates are so crucial in not only the successes that we try to earn together, but also in lifting one another up. And we're always trying to, we're always looking for the same thing, which is what's best for the kids. All right, what's best for the kids in New Jersey. So tonight, we have the privilege of bringing on a couple of different associations. One is the Wharton Arts, and we're going to have their Helen Cha-Pyo, who's the artistic director and the principal conductor of Wharton Arts, and she'll tell us about the three associations that are under the umbrella of Wharton Arts that she leads and directs, and all the wonderful kids and staff and musicians that are associated with that. And then we have another association that we've partnered with this year, and that's Little Kids Rock. And we have their senior manager of programmatic outreach, Mr. Warren Gramm, who was, he and I know each other for a number of years with my associations in different capacities with Little Kids Rock and all the great work that they do. But he also had a great experience with us this year as being one of our commentators, our adjudicators for the festival, because we were finally able to bring into the fold some modern band entries into the Winter Festival. I'm so excited about that. And in addition to Warren, we have one of the teachers from Hudson County Prep High School, Martha Wachulec, and one of her students, which I'm no offense to any of the adults in the room, I am most excited about having a student with us, and his name is Villamor Zuniga. He's a student at Hudson County Prep, and he was a member of the ensemble, or one of the ensembles that Martha brought to the festival, and I'm really looking forward to talking with him and them and get to know them a little bit better. But I think we're going to start off with Helen Cha-Pyo of Wharton Arts and talk about her associations and our collaboration.
Definitely. And if any of you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. And hi, Helen.
Welcome, Helen. Great to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here tonight and for connecting with us through Bob Morrison. That name comes up every conversation because my goodness, Bob is, I think it's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's 6 degrees of separation, 6 degrees of Bob Morrison, I think, in especially in the world of the arts. So
right. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate this. And this is really exciting in this platform. And talking about Bob Morrison, I think, the circle is small and or large when we are talking about arts advocacy, right? So I just, always been a huge fan of Arts Ed New Jersey and all of the work that you're doing. And the solo festival and ensemble festival that's kind of came out of the pandemic. It's brilliant. And I'm just so happy that we can partner with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thank you. Helen, can you tell us about your role and the three organizations that fall under your umbrella and what their mission statements are and such?
Sure. The Wharton Institute for the Performing Arts, that's the whole name, the organization. It is actually the largest arts education organization and in New Jersey, and we serve about 1,500 students coming from 10 different counties, and we are comprised of 3 programs. New Jersey Youth Symphony, which is located in New Providence, and we have 15 ensembles under that organization with 10 conductors, and we rehearse starting from Sunday all the way through Thursday, at least 3 ensembles each night. And so it's a hustling and bustling place in New Providence. And we are 44 years old at this point. So I've been around for a while. And then we have Performing Arts School, which is located in Berkeley Heights, just about 5-10 minutes from our New Providence location. And it is a community music school where we have all instruments available with over 45 faculty members teaching privately, semi-privately, and also we have musical theater program as well as straight theater arts program. And we have young, pathways to piano, pathways to violin, in a group situation where younger than, kindergarten students just starting out. And we have also new initiative that we began this past year, and we're just rolling out. It's lifelong learning at Wharton Performing Arts School. So for adults, we have classes like learn how to play in a band. If you've played way back in high school and you want to just dust off your guitar and come and join others, with the same interest who are adults, and it will be an evening class where our specialized teachers will hover over you and help you play in a band. Also, we have Harp Circle. So we have these harps called harpsicles, and it's a 21 string lap size harps. And you can play in a very relaxing manner, learning at your own pace. But when you come together as quartets and sextets, you can actually play beautiful music together without having to learn for years. So I want to, and I'm learning that actually. I'm learning harp for the first time, trying to be a lifelong learner. Also, we are launching Wharton Community Players. So this is a theater, straight theater, not musical theater. And we are calling for auditionings at the end of March. And all of this information is going to be available at whartonarts.org. If you go there in our events page or in the carousel, different initiatives, you can read all about that. And so, we have third program that's housed in in Patterson, New Jersey, called Patterson Music Project. And so Patterson Music Project is now in its 9th year. And it began when the city of Patterson didn't have the support of all of the arts programs because it was named as an underperforming district. So now since then, after 9 years, we began with 30-some students exactly 9 years ago in January. And now we have close to 500 students. Almost every day of the week, we have 3 different locations, and it's a free instrumental after-school program. And also on Saturday, all of the students from all parts of Patterson come to School 16, and we have wonderful teaching artists and directors working with our students in ensemble situation, as well as in private lessons. So, and that's really available for anyone who lives and goes to school in Patterson. So those, are very active programs. And as the artistic director and principal conductor, I oversee those programs. And it's just an amazing privilege to be working with an amazing artistic team and also our admin team working together to really serve our students' needs, no matter where you are in the state and what your passion might be. Like you want to really go and make a career out of being a musician, or you're just really enriching your lives. So we have something for everyone. And our mission is to offer excellent and high quality music education, performing arts education for all, creating that access. So with no barriers, if you have the passion for it, come and join us. So we have 3 different ways that we are engaging our students, all under the same umbrella of Wharton Institute for the Performing Arts.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I had the privilege and the pleasure, I guess a couple of weeks ago now, right? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Helen and I hosted a Zoom session with some of her faculty members. to share the message of what the New Jersey State Solo and Ensemble Festival was, and trying to bring the message about how to get her students involved in the festival. Sounds like a pretty natural progression for them. It sounds like there's a lot of solo and small ensemble music being studied. What a great opportunity for them to have another source of information and commentary. So we're hoping, to get, and I'm thrilled to hear about all the theater stuff, the music theater stuff, and now straight theater that's going to be going on there, because this is a way we can collaborate, where I can bring the message of Wharton Arts to the students that do enroll and register to perform musical theater, and say, hey, if you're interested in another outlet, another venue to ply your craft, here's the Wharton Arts to check out.
Absolutely.
And I'm dying for all those Patterson Music Project kids to have an opportunity to perform in our festival, because what a great opportunity it would be for these young musicians to focus on the solo, even if it's out of a method book, a minute piece, just to be able to get that experience to play for, somebody like a Dion Tucker, one of your staff members, right? Or the former Julius Tolentino, or somebody like that, and get feedback beyond the scope of their classroom experience. I think would be valuable. What do you think, Helen?
Yeah, absolutely. And internally, we do have juries each year. So Performing Arts School, they have to prepare for a jury, and that's an optional thing. For Patterson Music Project students, we try to have 100% participation and getting kids ready for internal juries. So as they are doing that, they have to play a solo. And so this solo, festival really lines up really well with the requirements, so that they can get twice kind of a chance to perform, and in this case learning how to record, which we've done a lot, but it's something else when you are presenting yourself in a performance way, and that our students are going to be really lucky to get wonderful comments back and use that for the next stepping stone and setting goals. So I think it's a really win-win situation. And same thing for our performing arts students and our New Jersey Youth Symphony students. We have close to 1,500 students all learning some sort of an instrument or singing, or, so I really love the idea of, us working together to give our students that gentle, positive push, right? To say, hey, you should try for this, because once you set a goal to learning a solo piece and getting it to a level where you can really feel comfortable to present it, that growth alone is just so important for our young musicians. So I'm all for this. Yeah.
Wonderful. And as we mentioned with your faculty on our Zoom, is that ratings, the comments only option for students, where they can, let's perform and just get commentary from another teacher, not even worry about ratings, not even worry about a score, because I'm not trying to compete. I'm trying to grow as a young musician. I think that's another great option as well.
Yeah,
right?
Every student is different. Some of them, that extrinsic kind of, a push, that's like a, prize. Like I really want to get the highest rating that I can today, it will motivate them. For some people, it's a little bit of a kind of a scary thing for them. So I love the fact that you have that option, because, that's really like I've heard you say, Dennis, we want to say, yes, you can do this, right? Rather than saying, no, these are our rules, therefore, no, try it next year. That's not the message we're getting from you. We're getting, like open arms and say, hey, try it. Even if you can play like a page from the method book, record it and send it in. We'll get professional musicians to comment on it. I mean, like, how great is that? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Something that's so beautiful about both of your organizations and both of these multitudinous number of opportunities for students is that they're so diverse and they're so open for everyone's personal needs. And so you both focused on that catering, and so that creates a very open atmosphere for students to at any level come in and be like, here's what I am, here's what I can do right now, what's going on, and then getting this professional advice, just like you said, Helen. It's really, really valuable.
Yeah. And it's a really supportive environment, encouraging. And this is kind of the positive aspect of making music, rather than being adjudicated,
So it's very adaptive and very positive, and I think it's more of what we need in arts education and just any education in general.
I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah.
And I'm gonna remove another obstacle to get toward yes. Again, with what are we without partners and support? The Grunin Foundation, who's a member of the Arts Ed New Jersey, has graciously given us scholarship availabilities to any student and all students who are in need and deserving. And all that's needed is the director's request. Nothing more.
Great.
So
that's really great.
No student will be turned away for not being able to afford the $20 registration fee for a solo or $10 registration fee for an ensemble. No student. So I think that's just another obstacle removed. Let's get it done.
Absolutely. And creating that access for all, right? Yeah. You just, that's really wonderful. And with the pandemic, we're all in a very unique situation. So something like this is a, wonderful positive message, especially for the parents. They want to be supportive of the kids, and this is great.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for doing that. And, if I may, we have lots of virtual events coming up that we're hosting. So if I can, the month of March, right? Music in school, music everywhere. It should be like that every month, but we designated March.
That's a different stream. We're going to get there.
So again, all of this information is available on whartonarts.org, or if you want to go to njys.org. I mean, those are interchangeable. So Harlem Quartet, who's a resident quartet at Montclair State University, is going to come and do a master class with our string players at New Jersey Youth Symphony next Tuesday, 7 p.m., right? That's in person. So if you want to, there's a registration that you can fill out and come and join us. The next 3 things are virtual. So Friday, March 18th at 4:30, How to Improve Your Sight Reading Skills workshop by one of our directors, Brian Rutterow. And he has a wonderful, wonderful presentation. And we're going to actually go into breakout rooms on Zoom and practice, different levels of sight reading. And we're going to put it up and then sight read, take it away, next sample. So it's going to be, bring your instrument and your computer and be ready to sight read. And then Wednesday, March 23rd, we are collaborating with New Jersey Festival Orchestra. Jae-won Kim is a wonderful violinist, and she's going to be doing a master class for our New Jersey Youth Symphony students, and we're going to live stream that. So everyone can watch it from 7 to 8 o'clock. We have 2 violin students playing Bruch and Mendelssohn violin concertos. Wow. And then lastly, New Jersey Youth Symphony always has this amazing fun play-a-thon that raises, fundraises for our scholarship fund, but mostly just raising fun, like say, together. And that's March 27th. And we're going to have 450 students all play in one orchestra, playing iconic movie themes and Broadway show themes. And that's going to be also live streamed for people because, it's COVID friendly time right now. So we're going to be gathering together, but everyone else can join live streamed. So that's going to be at 4 o'clock. Again, all available on whartonarts.org.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, please go check that out. And please, you're going to share all that information with me so we can share with our kids who participated in the winter, because I think it's important for them to, one of the things about the musicians too is we have to go to each other's gigs, right? We have to show up and support each other in that venue as well, right?
Right. And the fact that we can do these things remotely and, really has opened up a possibility of anybody joining us. And all of these events are free. So there's, no charge to anything, and you just have to sign up for it, so we can send you the link.
Don't you have a gala coming up where you're recognizing and rewarding Paul Schaefer and
we
right? Don't you have something coming up?
And that's tomorrow night. All of the tickets are sold out. We have over 255 people confirmed to show up. We are giving our annual Lifetime Achievement Award to someone that has just embodied a career of sharing music for good. And Paul Schaefer, just, when you look at him, he brings out joy in you, through music. And his funny quote, "I never went to a music school, so to be honored, with a Lifetime Achievement Award from Wharton Institute for the Performing Arts, he's now validated," he says. And then we are also honoring a local New Jersey educator every year. And last year was Bob Morse. So that's how our connection was. This year we have Robin Gordon Cartier, who is a harp teacher at Cicely L. Tyson School in East Orange. And she began the harp program over 20 years ago in Elizabeth School District. Now she's running it in East Orange. And we're going to have 5 harps. Her Cicely Tyson harps are going to be coming with Patterson Music Project students performing together, and also performing arts students singing a song from the movie, the Harriet Tubman movie, Stand Up, with harps. And Paul Schaefer playing with our jazz orchestra students. So it's going to be a wonderful evening of fundraising for our scholarship fund. So we can do more of this.
Well, thank you very much for being on, Helen. You have so many wonderful things going on. I didn't want to interrupt, but you're such a busy lady, up to many different things, so we got to push you on. Is it all right if we share your email for any questions, comments, concerns?
Absolutely. Yes. So and Helen Cha-Pyo at whartonarts.org. Yeah. And my email is also on that as well. So just go to whartonarts.org. Thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. And we're so looking forward to our students participating in the solo and ensemble festival. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a lot to share, huh?
Yes.
Isn't that great?
That was a lot, but very, very interesting and very, very educating, and lots of great opportunities. So definitely make sure that if you're interested in the Solo Ensemble State Festival, definitely check out the Wharton Arts website, because it's a lot of things which could work really, really well together, just like Helen said, with the solo performances blending together and being really useful.
Yeah, I love, the adult education that she mentioned, that lifelong learners. What a great title, because I think you and I are, examples of that. I think most folks in the arts are examples of that. And I know that the 3 people we're going to bring on here in a moment are definitely examples of that. Can we bring them into the studio?
Absolutely.
Warren Gramm, Martha Wachulec, and Villamor Zuniga. All right. Let me introduce Warren, who's as I mentioned before, the Senior Manager of Programmatic Outreach for Little Kids Rock. Great organization, which I'll let him tell us more about. And then we have Martha, who's a wonderful music teacher and musician, and an inspiration to young musicians. She's a teacher at Hudson County Prep in Jersey City, and one of her students, Villamor Zuniga Jr., is with us as well. I'm really excited to talk to him about his participation in his in the festival in the winter and his goals moving forward. So can we kick it off with Warren? Let me turn it off to you, Warren, and tell us a little bit about you and Little Kids Rock, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I work for Little Kids Rock. We're a national music nonprofit. Before I started working full-time with Little Kids Rock, I was a full-time classroom teacher in Jersey City, New Jersey, where Martha is now as well. She'll elaborate on there a little bit later. So Little Kids Rock, national music nonprofit that partners with state departments of education, school districts, higher education institutions, all sorts of communities and school contexts across the country. We provide 3 main things as a nonprofit. We provide lots of free curriculum and resources. So everything through our website, littlekidsrock.org. You can feel free to pop that in, Jocelyn, if you'd like. Everything we supply, whether they're play-alongs, teacher curriculum, free lesson plans, what else? Everything under the sun when it comes to something that we've pioneered called modern band. So modern band is, what you might understand as, guitars, keyboards, ukuleles, technology, kind of a focus on teaching music through the lens of popular music. So, we have 3 kind of main tenets that we focus on, which are performing, composing, improvising. Obviously, a lot goes into that. And to help that, we try to build a sense of community through our teacher base. And then where possible, we also donate instruments to schools that have a need for them. Of course, we don't have a pool of money sitting around. We can't help everybody, but somewhere in New Jersey, we've been blessed to partner with the Dodge Foundation, which I'm sure many of you have heard of in the past. And through that work, we're able to donate instruments to lots of classes around New Jersey. So if you're listening to this and you're a public school teacher in New Jersey and you want to check out Modern Band, I'll drop a link in the chat where you can go see one of our free, we offer virtual and in-person workshops. So touch more about Modern Band real quick, and then I'll pass it off. It focuses, like I said, on the instrumentation there, but also it focuses on the popular music, but the popular music of the students, not necessarily whoever's at the top of the charts at the very moment. I don't really know. It could be Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift for all I know. But if you're teaching music, on the the Texas Mexico border, that might not be popular to your students. If you're teaching in Maine, that might not be popular to your students. So it's focusing on the contextual nature of teaching music. And it's informal. We're trying to reach all of the kind of 75-ish% of kids that don't necessarily identify with, marching band, jazz band, choir, concert band. We know those programs work. We love them. We're looking to add and be advocates for Modern Band as another stream of music education. So I don't know how much you want me to keep going, Dennis, or if you want to pass it off for intros. I'm a bit long-winded. I don't want to.
No, this is all
so
great.
interesting.
We can go on about it. I've been on the receiving side of all the good things the Little Kids Rock has done as a former teacher and supervisor with the Elizabeth Public Schools as well. What just turned around our general music programs especially, and anybody who's watching that's a music educator knows with the new New Jersey student learning standards and the new national art standards, with the first standard being creating. Little Kids Rock this is their wheelhouse too. So just amazing. But yeah, I think let us pass it on, because we want to kind of show the proof in the pudding here too. It's not just talking. But so let's ask Martha Wachulec to talk a little bit more about how she was able to take what Warren was talking about and put it into action at her school, and then bring it into Arts Ed New Jersey's State and Solo Ensemble Festival, and how the kids prepared for and performed at that, because I'd love lots more Modern Band kids for the spring.
Absolutely. What a segue. Oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. As Dennis beautifully pronounced, my name is Martha Wachulec, and I am one of the lucky instrumental and vocal teachers at County Prep High School in Jersey City. You may not recognize the name because we're not a part of the Jersey City public school system. We're actually in the Hudson County Schools of Technology district. So we work a little differently in that our high school offers majors to grades 9 through 12. And these majors actually prepare students in a career and technical sense, in that students receive hands-on training from people within the industry, be it medical science, photography, culinary, or in our case, music and audio technology. So students receive hands-on instruction. They use Pro Tools and get their certification throughout their 4 years in the program. But one of the crowning jewels, I would say, of our program would be our focus on Modern Band. You're going to use Pro Tools to produce hip hop tracks and rock tracks. I mean, you could use it for classical, I'm sure, but based on our demographic, based on our needs as a school, based on our goal to prepare students for today's music industry, we are very much centered within a Modern Band culture. So it's just so wonderful to see Warren here. Villamore will tell you himself, some of the very first lessons I give are with the Little Kids Rock drum patterns. We jump on the drum kit and we get the boots and cats. We get the absolutely body percussion. That's where am I right, Villamore, or am I making this up? He nods his head. Yes, I'm not making it up. So it's just so wonderful to be here and to speak about this fantastic festival. as an educator within an urban school district, I cannot say enough about this festival and just how accessible it is and just how easy it is to get started and how to get your students performing and receiving quality adjudication and support. So I can't say enough about it. So I'm ready to rant about anything. So what should I focus on specifically?
Well, I think let's see how this partnership came together. I mean, you and I know each other from Montclair State University, and I worked together there. You obviously know Warren with Little Kids Rock, and then you get this gig at Hudson County Prep in Jersey City, and your worlds collide, right? And then you have this opportunity through the festival to give the kids, because again, I'm a proponent for modern band and jazz for the reason that they're mostly American music. And, as much as I grew up on concert band and symphonic music, I think we should celebrate and teach our kids our music first and then go theirs. But, I don't want to get it. So that's another stream as well. Let's talk about how you provided Villamore and other students like Villamore, because I watched all the videos of the students that participated and their original compositions and their covers. How did we get them this opportunity to perform for the festival, and how did you prepare, and how did the kids create? Because that's what we're most interested in, is giving these kids an opportunity to grow as musicians.
Absolutely. And we'll have to have the discussion about whose music comes first, the kids or ours,
Okay.
a different time. So how did this come to be? Well, our program offered 2 ensembles. We were listed as miscellaneous ensembles within the registration for the festival, but these were really modern band groups. They were bands. So we had, your drum set, your keyboard, bass guitar, electric guitar, and background vocals, lead vocals, and rap even. We had a very cool hip-hop, funk, R&B song that Villamore actually played on, which he'll tell you more about. And so the students that participated were actually a part of an after-school credited course that we have. I would be amiss if I didn't give credit to my colleagues. If I could I'm going to share the screen. They're not here today, but they're very much here in spirit and rooting for us. So I'm going to share the screen. Got to give credit to the people who make it happen, So here we go. Here is our staff photo. I'm actually photoshopped because this picture was taken before I was hired. Don't worry about it. But here I want to present Mr. Wise Rodriguez, who helped us. This was very much a collaborative effort. Mr. Wise Rodriguez was our camera person. He has a lot of AV experience, so he was the one getting everything set up to give us the highest quality video recording. My wonderful coworker, Mr. Kyle Matthews, who teaches instrumental music alongside me, and Mr. Wilkes Figuereo, who teaches music and audio production. So this was very much it takes a village kind of initiative. And awesome. So the gentlemen here, Mr. Matthews and Mr. Figuereo, they're really they started this after school course, but as Villamore will tell you, I'm there alongside them, getting things together, getting groups together. And the way the course works, I'm going to stop my screen there. I hope it stopped. I think it did.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. The way that the course works is it's actually available not just to students who sign up for the music and audio tech major, but early in September, we were out with flyers announcing anyone who wants to come with any musical experience, come on over to this twice a week after school course, 3 to 5:30, Mondays and Wednesdays, come and jam with us. And we, set up this class sort of in the form of a garage band where you just come on in, grab an instrument, start playing, start noodling, and one by one, Mr. Matthews, Mr. Figuereo, and myself would go from group to group and provide one-on-one, one and group instruction as to how we can make the students' original songs sound the way that they want them to sound. Mm-hmm. So is that answering your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to Villamore.
Yes, please.
Right. And so when your teacher comes to you with this festival and this, and I guess, you get back to your team too, Martha, it's a great opportunity because the festival is virtual and it is recorded. It's another dimension of skill sets that we're working with our kids on how to be use discretion on, okay, is that my best take? Is this my best run? How was the balance? How was the tone? All these things. Villamor, what did you think? How did you like the process? Because really, the festival is nothing without the kids, and I want to make sure that every student that participates is having a great educational and musical experience. So Villamor, don't let me down, buddy. Tell me it was great.
No, yeah. For me, it was pretty fun. I like the process. Honestly, for me, I'm very free-flowing, so I don't really oppose too much to whatever's happening. So, yeah. Other than that, like, what was there? Honestly, setting up was fun. Seeing Mr. Weiss have to, like, set up the cameras. We did little scripts as well, so it would be plastered underneath the camera. Yeah. And then as for actually taking, honestly, I didn't mind it. I thought it would be like nerve-wracking at first, but honestly, maybe it's just me, but I just felt comfortable in front of the camera. So
that's great, Villamor. I appreciate that. For the folks that are listening now, listening later, want to make sure they understand, because Villamor said there was a script and rehearsals. So every student or student group at the beginning of their submitted video needs to explain who they are, where they're from, what they're performing, and talk a little bit about the piece. So it was great to hear that there was a little bit of preparation there as well. It's not adjudicated, but it's certainly something that we want to help prepare students for when they do have to give juries, like Helen mentioned earlier, or they're auditioning for a post-secondary institution, right? Warren, you want to?
Yeah, no, just to touch on that. Yeah, when Dennis and I were kind of envisioning how we could blast, the opportunity out to all of our kind of New Jersey modern band teachers, one of those being Martha, who kind of came on board with us a couple of years ago, maybe last year, kind of mid-pandemic. I know she attended, a couple sessions. Either way, we blasted out. And, a big part of modern band, Little Kids Rock, we host things called jam fests instead of calling them Battle of the Bands. Because, we're all about, DEI right now. We're all about inclusivity of everyone, and making it, making people feel encouraged about making music, and not feeling like, oh, well, I came in first. Well, I came in second. I'm not as good. So the idea of limiting this experience for the people who submitted videos to just commentary was a conscious effort, between, Dennis and I talking about it, where we didn't want people to feel like, oh, they were just getting ranked, because, there could be some negativity there. And, especially if there's nothing to compare it against, students might feel a bit discouraged. And I loved it. Like, being able to speak frankly about, all the original songs that were performed. It was amazing. And, giving feedback was, I thought maybe not as helpful, but Martha, I ran into her at the NJMEA festival or conference, a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, oh my gosh, it was so helpful. So I felt like totally floored that, something I said was, being relayed to the students, and, came in handy.
That's great. That's great. Go ahead, Martha.
If I may speak more to that. Now, of course, Villamor, he's very good with the flow, and anything I throw at him, he's ready to catch, which is one of the reasons why he's presenting here. Look at his setup. He's got the gamer chair, he's got the mic, he's just ready to roll. That being said, for the other students, it was a different process, I would say. When I even first mentioned the festival, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Villamor, but I got a sense that the students were a bit apprehensive. Once they heard that it was virtual while it was in front of a camera, there was a, oh gosh, what is Ms. W making us do? Am I right, Vil?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So there was very much this sense of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be critiqued. And I had to multiple times explain, guys, bear with me, okay? And I explained the philosophy behind the festival, which I really appreciate, the idea to improve musicianship, right? And not so much to critique or to put to some sort of standard, but to elevate. And so the students were apprehensive through and through. I think up until we had the camera out, I mean, then the nerves were pretty high too. You would think after a whole year of pandemic learning at a camera, they would know, they'd be feel more comfortable. But then again, it is all nerve-wracking.
And it was being recorded, right?
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the worst part. And so that was all very nerve-wracking. I tried my very hardest to let the kids know it's, nothing to worry about, but you could tell they really cared and they were very invested in representing their original songs and themselves in the best light possible. But I can honestly speak from my own observations. The comments that Warren left, which by the way I have open on a tab if you want to see a little bit of it, but they were formulated so clearly and in such a good light, in that the students received a lot of feedback on what they did well and then things to improve upon. And of course, we know I work in a high school. Villamore can attest. Teenagers are some of the harshest critics, not of others, but of themselves most of the time. So a lot of the things I was telling the students, telling them that their song was interesting, that they were putting in interesting harmonies, that their individual parts were fascinating. If your teacher says it to you, they see me every day. My opinion only goes so far. But if an adjudicator, a professional who's devoted his life to modern band music. No, you laugh, but it's serious, right?
No, I'm watching Mr. Gramm straighten the tie he's not wearing.
Yes, very formal.
Yeah.
But to have that second opinion, that outsider's opinion, right?
Sure.
So it's not just Mr. Gramm being nice, right? Because Ms. Wachulec is nice some of the time. She'll say this and that or the other. But if you actually have an outside person saying the same things and agreeing with the teacher, it builds a trust between the teacher and the student. It builds a trust within the student, within themselves, to think, oh, right, I do think I did sound good. And Mr. Gramm pointed that out. So I personally see a ginormous exponential boost of confidence within that ensemble, within those classes.
Right.
The kids are more excited to get more work out. They are so much more energized to prepare for our upcoming concert next month. So I honestly credit the virtual festival and Warren's comments for really improving the general culture and the atmosphere in our after school club.
Well, that's great.
It's
hoping,
so cool. Thank you.
Good one.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you. And for Villamore and for all of your friends who were participating. Martha and I did not convene before I gave the comments to talk about the things that I should put forward. So yeah, you can trust Martha. She knows what she's talking about. But you're right. It's like, if you hear it from somebody else, you're like, oh, well, fine, okay. It brings a level of gravitas to it, just that it's someone else, not just not that it's me, but it's somebody else, kind of reinforcing what you're saying. I had a question, Martha. Did you hear about the festival? I know I tried to blast it out. Is that where you heard it from?
Yes, it all comes back to you, Warren. Yes, I got a I don't remember if I might have been Dennis or Warren. I don't remember. It was like chicken or the egg. Which email came first?
Well, I think you probably heard from Warren first, because he and I had a conversation about trying to get. I shared our one page with him to share with his educators and they with their staff and kids, and then you may have contacted me and I followed up as to reciprocate that exchange. But either way, and this is why it's important to know one another's organizations, right? Because there's kids out there that would benefit from participating in this kind of an opportunity. Songwriters. We had a young kid. One of my proudest moments so far in the 2 years of this festival is we had a middle school kid from Passaic Public Schools who wrote a composer piece for string orchestra. And he's what a lot of his teachers would probably not call a model student, but my goodness, he wrote this beautiful piece. And so the school's string orchestra entered and participated as a performing ensemble for their own rating, and we had Maestro Jeff Grogan was the adjudicator for that. Formerly of the New Jersey Youth Symphony, and now freelance conductor out in Oklahoma and Texas. But I also I had the student. I got an adjudicator named Key Poulon, who's a composer and arranger from the West Coast, and he listened to the student's work and took a copy of the score and gave the student feedback on their writing. So, I mean, here's a 7th grader from Passaic, New Jersey, who under most circumstances in one of these festival opportunities wouldn't have made that connection, and that's all we're trying to do is make the connections, because you never know where your next composer, your next producer, your next arranger, your next musician is. They could be on Montgomery Street in Jersey City or on Main Street in Passaic, right? So I'd like to hear. Can I hear from Villamore a little bit? I know, Villamore, you had mentioned that you were in. Were you in one of the ensembles, or did you do more writing? How many groups? What did you have to do in the festival? What was your role, buddy?
I was in only one of the groups, and I was the drummer.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But did you do any writing? Is that what Ms. Pahulitz said?
Writing?
Or
So
no?
every group is different and how they interact with each other. From my experience with my group, I kind of just went along with whatever, because I don't really take leadership unless needed to.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, if they want, most of the time they would ask for whatever I want, or like if this sound good, if I want to do this or that, and
Gotcha.
that's usually how it went. And then sometimes we would have another person come in, and he was actually an alumni.
Okay.
So he helped us with our song as well, and he taught me a few things, and he'd tell me you could do this, vary it up, this, that, and the third. So it was what was his last name? Matthew.
Vera.
Vera, yeah.
An alumni of ours. We often like to have alumni come back.
Absolutely.
And this happens to be a former student who's now pursuing music. So we very much encourage the peer-to-peer experience. Very often we'll have drummers switch parts on a song so that they both learn it. They'll teach it to each other. So although, Mr. Matthews, Mr. Figueroa, and myself are the teachers there, I like to say it's really a workshop. It's very much a musical laboratory that we've created, where the students are more so learning from each other and experimenting with one another. And we really try to facilitate this kind of environment and step in when the writer's block happens, or when the run through sounds the same for the 3rd time through. That's when we try to sprinkle in a little bit.
Jocelyn?
It feels like all of these organizations that we've been talking to, you have taken the idea of the makerspace. You guys remember when that came in and everyone was like, oh my gosh, makerspace, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. You guys have taken that and made it into a whole other thing. You've made it a whole other level where not only have you personalized it to the students, you've made it in every facet. So makerspace typically implies a hands-on art, like visual art, while this is musical art. So not only does it lend to that for students as well, but then it also incorporates the adjudication, which adds a structure to the creativity, which as creative people, we all may know that we need a little bit of structure in our lives. And so adding that structure makes it not only gives us stepping stones to walk on to get to the next step of where we're going in life and where we're going with our art, but also gives us the opportunity to reflect and gives us the opportunity to decide what's going to happen next. Because if we don't know where we're going to stop or where we're going to pause to take a look at it, then we'll never take a look at it and we'll just keep going. And so all these organizations that we've talked to, one which we're talking from, which is the New Jersey Solo Ensemble Festival, we do that, and then Little Kids Rock does that, and so does Wharton, and it's just so great to see this.
Yeah. Villamore, will you be participating in the spring? What's your plans for that? What do you guys have in store? Do you want to not give it away? You want to be surprised?
If there is a surprise, I did not get the memo, but I will be participating.
Okay, cool.
So.
Yeah, so just for folks that are watching too, today's the 9th. Yes, Wednesday the 9th. Monday, the 14th, this next Monday is when registration opens. Okay, you can contact me directly. I think my information's on this, isn't it, Jocelyn? How to get my email address, etc., and so forth. We had an information session on this past Monday night, which you can contact me. I'll send you the Zoom link for if you'd like. On April 11th, we're having another Zoom, which we will give you some directions on how to prepare your recordings, what some of the limitations are, and best practices and stuff for that. Let's get back to Little Kids Rock and County Prep. You probably have lots of stuff coming up as organizations, as a school. You want to share some with us so we can get the word out and have people check you guys out?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll jump in real quick. First off, one more accolade for Martha and her students. I was blown away by the fact that all three of the submissions to the festival this year were original compositions. Just
Absolutely.
Extremely well put together, totally fleshed out, different sections, clearly not just the first stab at something. And one performance by a solo guitar player who was, singer, songwriter. Obviously, I don't know names, so feel free to shout that person out, Martha.
Emily Rhoda.
There you go. So Emily, had all these alternate tunings and was just playing beautifully, finger picking, and I was just blown away. I put the song on and I was like, I can just kind of sit here and chill and listen to this beautiful tune. So, and again, like Martha said, I was trying to be positive and at the same time a bit critical, right? Because it's part of the growing process, even though sometimes it's a little painful. I know that just from who I am, right? Nobody likes to hear that you're not perfect, but at the same time, hopefully all those things help. Anyway, back to Dennis, your point. Our organization hosts a lot of in-person workshops where we kind of run through the methodology of modern band, and for teachers who are eligible for instrument donations, they can hop into those. I'll put a link here in the chat, and Jocelyn can pop that in. I have a bunch of bit.lys memorized, so hopefully if you put the HTTP in there, it'll get you there. I know New Jersey, we had one in New York City. There you go. Thank you, Jocelyn. Yeah, we had one in New York City mid-February. We're having one in Connecticut in Hartford coming up. So, not too long of a drive up at their MEA conference. So we've got that going on. And part of, like I was saying, part of what we do is we produce all free curriculum. And in our jam zone, as we call it, our teaching and learning department is just constantly cranking out song sheets, lyric sheets, play along videos for everybody to jump in on. So even if you can't make it to one of our workshops, we actually just launched our learning management system. So, I know, being in person and doing things live is a wonderful experience. But if you are in the middle of Kansas and you can't drive to Connecticut next month, you can check out our website, for some access to pre-recorded videos that walk you through some of the steps. So the whole idea, like Martha was kind of getting at, is that we're reaching lots of other kids. And I'd love to pick your brain, Martha, a little bit more about, you said you offered up that after school or a kind of extracurricular course to anybody. It wasn't just like, here are the music students. So I don't know. I don't mean to veer the conversation, but I'd love for you to tell me more about that and who showed up? Did you see anybody who you didn't expect? Were they all music people in your mind? I don't know.
It's a great question. And if I start to answer it a little too long, just give me something and I'll finish up. But yes, so the way this process worked was we did have an entry audition. And the requirements for the audition were as such: come into the room at the right time and show us anything that you can do musically. And we had about 30 students come in, and we ended up accepting all of them. We had students from various grades. We actually had a strong number of underclassmen, which was surprising to me, because the underclassmen, as you can realize with the pandemic, many of them, we had sophomores who had never stepped foot into the building until that September. So these were students who didn't know anybody, didn't really, are still learning the culture of the school. And they came in droves to this audition for this garage band type of course.
Yes, sure.
So I was very impressed and surprised. And we had students across all sorts of levels. And it was hard to turn down any of them because I was just happy to have kids there. I was just happy to have kids wanting to make music after school from 3 to 5:30 after all of their courses from 8:30 a.m. to 3, and they still want to come and jam with us. So very much we were accepting them on that basis. And we had students all over across the gambit. We had students who, majority of our students do not have access to private lessons. There are very few who do. But regardless, they all had something prepared, and we had a few questions for them. How long have you been playing? Have you had any lessons? Do you play this music? Do you play a certain type of music outside of school, as in your home, with friends, in church groups, anything like that, to kind of get a vignette of who they are and what they're about. And that was essentially the process. And since then, we've got, what's wonderful about our course is that we have seniors working with freshmen and vice versa. Age and grades and those kinds of barriers just come down when we get together for this course. And it's really wonderful to see.
Right. And, having participated in Little Kids Rock as a teacher and then as an administrator watching my teachers participate, that's kind of their method as well, as, it's not top down. It's a communal event. I've never been able to get to Colorado on one of your summits, but it's on my bucket list, believe me, to get out there. Martha, what do you got coming up with County Prep? You want to tell us a little bit about what you want to share so we can check it out and share with our kids?
Actually, I'm going to put Villamore on the spot because just like you were saying, it's important to promote what we do. Sure, I may be the teacher, but Villamore's the one playing in our big concert next month. So Villamore, how about you give us all the details about what's coming up? And I'm going to share the flyer on the screen, okay?
All right. So to my knowledge, we have 3 events happening. So this month, we will be performing in our hallway. We have a little hallway concert where we perform, I believe, renditions and original music, right?
Awesome.
Yep. And then during April, we have a concert in C. Caucus Theater, right? Where we will be playing, I believe, also renditions and original music. And then around June, beginning of June, we're going to be having our Summer Fest, which is going to be fun. There we only play original music by the band. And is choir going to be joining that as well?
Well, if we compose an original choral piece by then, sure. Not really in my plan. I'm more concerned with myself being in the dunk tank, because Summerfest is not just a concert, but we also have carnival rides and games out in the parking lot. This is available to the students, but still we like to mention it so we know what's going on.
That wasn't a metaphor.
The dunk tank? No, quite literally.
That's an actual thing.
Yep, we are fundraising.
I was like, oh, that's a good phrase, being, very, very vulnerable, but no,
we can make it happen. But I literally mean I will be sitting in the dunk tank waiting for my students to exact revenge on me.
Yeah, Villamore will have 3 balls. He's juggling 3 balls, Martha. He's coming after you. He's coming at you.
I know, right? But yes, absolutely. And excellent job, Villamore. And so of the 3 events that Villamore mentioned, one of them is open to the public, and that is the one that I'm presenting now. You can see the flyer, yes?
Can now, yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So the concert is called What's New, Jersey? With that inflection, the punctuation is very important on this one. And the students are performing pieces entirely by notable musicians and artists from the state of New Jersey. So you can expect some Whitney Houston on there, some Bruce Springsteen, maybe some Kool and the Gang, and Jonas Brothers, maybe. You didn't hear it from me. And that will be, as Villamore said, on the 13th of April, on Wednesday at 6 p.m. And everyone is welcome. And we would love to have everyone come in and join for our very first public open performance since the pandemic. So we have a tickets are going on sale next week. So you can keep an eye out on our website, hcstonline.org, specifically under the County Prep tab. That's where you can purchase tickets online and donate if you so wish. And we just invite everyone to celebrate this, to share in this celebration of local music from our very own state. And we will also be having original songs performed at that event as well. So very, very exciting things happening.
That's awesome. Since registration for the festival finishes the day before that, the 15th, and student videos are going to start to be submitted on May 1st, then anything you record on April 16th, if the kids want to submit that as a performance for the festival, they can. All they have to do is shoot an introductory piece that you can edit onto the front of that, and they can, anything that's done, you can, because I know some of your kids, and we're running out of time here, but I know that we work together, again, going back to our conversation with Helen, Jocelyn, before, some of the students from your campus did take the opportunity to utilize the scholarship funds that were afforded through the Gramm Foundation. So again, we were not turning away anybody who, for financial reasons, are not going to be the reason you can't participate. Okay, we're going to work around it, and we're going to get you in. So it's a great opportunity to do that. I'm going to go back and circle back to what Warren was mentioning earlier about being a commentator / adjudicator, making sure that you accredit and evaluate and build up, but also point out some areas that students can work on. And that leads me to, Jocelyn, next week's Festival Fun Facts, right? We're going to have a couple of our adjudicators on to talk just about that, to talk about their experiences, well, the experience that they bring to the festival. And we're going to have at least 3 adjudicators, Mr. Wayne Dillon, who's formerly a New Jersey music educator, now living in Florida, retired and doing a lot of consultation work down there. And he's a great jazz artist and teacher, and does a lot of adjudicating for Bands of America and Winter Guard International, Drum Corps International. Another young lady named Dr. Anna Kaiserman, who's a concert pianist and a teacher at William Patterson University, Rutgers University, and Raritan Valley Community College, concert pianist from Russia, who will be with us. And another adjudicator, Dr. Deborah Confredo, who is a teacher at Temple University. And you guys mentioned being at the NJMEA conference last week. Dr. Confredo is the newly elected president-elect of the National Association for Music Educators. So we're really thrilled to have one of our adjudicators be the president of the association, for goodness sake. Might be 1 or 2 more guests I'm still waiting on, but I want to get a good cross-section of what it's like to be a judge for these kids in our festival. So Warren, Martha, Villamore, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. We're going to say goodnight to you guys while we wrap up. And I'm looking forward to seeing you, Villamore. And let's see if we can get some more modern band kids in the festival. And maybe I can get out to Sea Caucus to check you guys out on the 16th of April. That'd be awesome.
The 13th of April, Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought there was 16th. Okay. They'll give me that flyer, so make sure I get it right.
I'll take that flyer as well.
Excellent. Thank you for having us. This was wonderful.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Good night.
Jocelyn, what a great night, huh?
Yes, definitely. Lots of very interesting people. I'm going to run through all the links that we just talked about. So let's do this. So we're going to start with Helen. So this is her email to reach out to her. And then this is the website that she is related to. And so you can go there and find her email on the website. Awesome. And then we'll go straight to Warren's email. So this is Warren's email, and then here is the 2 links that he shared. Well, he shared 3, but they're connected. So here's the Jam Zone of Little Kids Rock, and then this one is the application, and then here is the head of all of it. This is their website, so go there. I'm sure you can find all these other ones on there. And then we're gonna go over to Martha's, and just pay attention to the J, not the M. Just when you're typing it in, don't assume that
it's Jacqueline, not Martha. She goes by Martha, but her first name's Jacqueline, J.
Yes.
So.
And so pay attention to that, definitely. And then they have their website there. And then definitely try to tune in and go to the performance and the event on April 13th at 7 p.m. Super exciting. I'm going to see if I can be there with an Arts at NJ table. That would be super great.
Oh, amazing.
And so that's everything for us tonight. Definitely check out the Student Voices that was recently moved. It was going to be on the 7th, but then life is complicated, so we moved to the 15th. If you guys are interested to be on there, you can still sign up to be on there, just like you can still sign up to do the Arts Educator Roundtable, which is going to be on the 23rd. And then April 11th, definitely tune in to what we're going to talk about on the 30th, right? So it's submissions.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be an extension of that conversation. Yep.
Yes, definitely. So we're going to touch on it then, but they're going to go more in depth and be very specific about it. And so that's coming up for us, and then coming up in general. And so then also take a look at the next 3 weeks of Festival Fun Facts. So there's going to be two I'm blanking installments. There we go. 2 installments of this series. So it'll be next week on the 16th. We have one about judging, which we were just talking about. Lots of very interesting people on there, just like we had lots of very interesting people on tonight. And then we're going to skip the week so we can do the Arts Educator Roundtable. You can still sign up. And then we're going to do the 30th, which is the last Festival Fun Facts of this year. But it's okay, because we're going to talk about submissions, and we're going to talk about all those little details and kind of wrap up everything that we've been talking about. So that's everything. And I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Dennis, do you want to check in on anything before we close up?
No, I'm just, I always learn more than I come in with these conversations with our guests, and in this case, all these great partners and teachers and students, right? Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to seeing Villamor and his colleagues in not only in the festival, but in their performances. And I hope that anybody who's watching, especially the kids and the parents, you can see how rewarding all these associations are, all these partnerships are, all these experiences are for the kids. And let's just keep giving them great musical educational experiences. I'm looking forward to the Spring Festival.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, everyone who tuned in, everyone who was on, Helen, Warren, Villamor, and Martha. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful night and a very safe night. And we'll see you next week.
Take care.